Good afternoon, everyone. We all know that the way we consume and produce food is having a huge impact on nature. For those of you who don't know, Nomad Food is Europe's leading frozen food company. And today I'd like to talk to you about what we're doing to address some of the challenges and what we're doing to help consumers move towards a way of eating that is good for their health and the health of the planet. This is obviously a very broad topic, so I'll focus primarily on agriculture and biodiversity as they're critical to our business and key themes for today's event. So why is this important to us? First, because we have brands and products that have been at the heart of family life for generations, and we want them to be favorites for generations to come. Second, because sustainability is in our DNA, and we have a responsibility to take action to support the transition to a net zero society. And finally, because our purpose is to serve the world with better food. And we know that consumers, retailers, and other stakeholders are increasingly asking for brands that are more sustainable. That's why our teams are dedicated to creating great tasting food that is good for people, good for the planet, affordable, and available everywhere. We call this eating for the planet. And our objective is to democratize sustainable eating. We're very proud that our brands are for the masses because this gives us an opportunity to make a real difference and support widespread change. Our shared challenge is to feed a global population of 10 billion in 2050. The food industry represents 30% of global energy consumption and over 20% of greenhouse gas emissions globally. 1/3 of food is wasted annually, and obesity is increasing at the same time as undernutrition. The fundamental link between the food we eat and the health of the planet is now scientifically proven, and the facts are clear. To address the impact of the food system, we need to focus on two things: what we eat and how we produce it. According to a number of experts, changing the way we eat is the single biggest way for us to reduce our environmental impact. Last year, we commissioned research that models the impact of dietary habits on carbon emissions to see what a nutritious, planet-friendly way of eating could look like. This research confirmed that a diet rich in vegetables, sustainably sourced fish, and plant protein could reduce carbon emissions from food by up to 60%. And when you choose frozen over chilled or fresh, there is even more potential to lower the carbon footprint because frozen food significantly reduces food waste. The fact that we already have a portfolio that is flexitarian at heart, of 90% of our portfolio qualifying as a healthy meal choice, and are focused on mass brands purchased by millions of consumers across Europe, puts us in a strong position to support a generational shift towards healthier, more sustainable eating. At the same time, we know that consumers still want to enjoy more indulgent products such as pizza. And so for the 10% of our portfolio that falls into this category, we also focused on making these products better for you. Reducing saturated fat, sugar and salt, increasing fiber and providing vegan and vegetarian options, for example, while still delivering great taste. So I'd be happy to share more on this, but today I really want to focus more on food production. Biodiversity is crucial for human life because we rely on the Earth's natural systems to regulate the environment, maintain the planet we can live on, and produce food. It's also critical for economy since more than 50% of global GDP relies on biodiversity. Unfortunately, the way food has been produced over the last 50 years has driven biodiversity loss. And it's now declining faster than at any time in human history. This is clearly unsustainable and a threat for economies, communities, and the planet. For Nomad Foods and many other food companies, sustainable and resilient agriculture is essential for business. Over 40% of volumes of goods we purchase annually are vegetables. In fact, we source almost 400,000 tons of vegetables a year. The largest volumes are spinach, potatoes, and peas, which we have been growing since 1946. We have a target to source 100% of our vegetables and potatoes through sustainable farming practices by the end of 2025. To achieve this target means farming with the future in mind. We source half of our vegetables directly through long-term agreements with farmers, some of whom we have worked with for decades. The remainder comes from trusted third-party suppliers. We have introduced the SAI platform's FSA tool as a benchmark, and our target is for all of our suppliers to achieve silver standard as a minimum and progress towards gold. We plan to share a full progress update in our next sustainability report, but I'm very proud of what our teams have already achieved. In October 2020, Birdseye became the first farm management group in the UK and the first ever in frozen food globally to be verified as FSA Gold level for sustainable food production. A remarkable achievement considering the restrictions they worked under during the pandemic. Just last month, we have been verified as FSA Gold for all on-grown spinach, herbs, and autumn vegetables in Germany, our second largest market. And we expect to have more than 70% of our on-grown vegetables at FSA Gold by the end of this year. Biodiversity has been a focus area of ours for many years, and as we roll out FSA, we are also identifying opportunities to cultivate biodiversity. In the UK, over 1/3 of the pea farmers we partner with already have biodiversity plans in place, covering over 60,000 hectares of land. Iglo Germany introduced flower borders around vegetable fields over 15 years ago, thanks to a partnership between spinach farmers and the University of Bonn. More than 70 kilometers of flowers have now been planted. In Sweden, we also use flower borders, and in Italy, we work with Tuccia University to help farmers monitor their work on biodiversity and implement action plans. In Italy, we also partner with organizations including the World Food Programme to engage younger generations in sustainable agriculture. Always striving is one of our core values, and while protecting biodiversity and doing business with the planet in mind is not new for us, we recognize we can do more. One of our newest projects in the UK is a landmark collaboration between Nomad Foods, Yorkshire Water, and Hull and Teesside universities that could help return atmospheric CO2 to pre-industrial levels. Through the Sustainable Landscape Humber project, 50 farmers who grow peas for Birdseye are planting a diverse range of cover crops to improve soil health, reduce flooding and soil erosion, and capture carbon from the atmosphere. Trials show an increase in soil organic matter by up to 40 tons per hectare, which can sequester over 4 tons of atmospheric carbon per year. In just 90 days, the cover crop program removed sufficient carbon to make 400 families of 4 in the UK carbon neutral for a year. While it is just a pilot, it is a great example of how farming can be part of the solution to climate change and biodiversity loss. It also indicates what could be possible on a larger scale to reduce carbon emissions and create a more resilient agricultural supply chain. Today, agricultural land accounts for more than half of land use in Europe. Maintaining a diverse range of animals, plants, and microorganisms is critical to create healthy, resilient ecosystems. However, up to 25% of European animal species are now estimated to be threatened with extinction, and pollinators like bees are in decline. If we are to help consumers eat for the planet, we need to build on what we're already doing, extend our knowledge, and create an impact beyond our fields. This is why Nomad Foods has just announced a new partnership with WWF to promote sustainable agriculture and more sustainable ways of eating. Addressing the triple challenge of feeding a growing population while tackling the climate crisis and reversing biodiversity loss is a key focus of WWF's work on landscapes. Our aim is to involve vegetable farmers, policymakers, and the commercial sector to create a blueprint for landscapes that can increase food productivity through nature-positive approaches. We want to show how innovative farming techniques could reduce carbon emissions, support biodiversity, and provide a pathway for European agriculture to meet this triple challenge. And we want to encourage consumers to make great choices for them and for the planet by engaging them in our journey. The partnership is just starting, but we're excited about what we can jointly accomplish. Reconnecting people with food and the whole value chain is essential if we want to change the food system and build a future with healthy people and a healthy planet. I'm very proud of what we have achieved, but there is more to do. And no company can achieve systemic change on its own. We can only deliver change on the scale that is required if business works in close collaboration with government and expert partners to share knowledge, share the load, and drive progress. We need to motivate consumers to act, and we must inspire the next generation to get involved. If everyone contributes, we could have a huge collective impact and achieve substantial change over time. While we are very aware of the challenges that lie ahead, we have a key role to play in transforming how food is grown to pave the way for a better future for us and for nature. Thank you very much.